Mari. Oh, that's loud. Hey, Mari, how are you today?
Hi, good. Thank you. How are you?
Oh, I can see that you're trying to talk, but I can't hear you. That might be a problem on my end. Turn my volume up.
Oh, okay.
Let's try that now, Mari. Can you try talking to me?
Yes, can you hear me?
Ooh, nice and clear.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm here.
Ritz, my man, are you on?
Yep.
Good morning, kind sir. Woo.
Morning.
All right, we're going to get Angie all mic'd up, everybody. Get you rolling today. Get the
Nice.
cat going. You'll need it when you're with Angie. She's got high energy. She got some food and water and she's set. I'm literally drinking my second rock star and she's just eating a granola bar and she's happy. That's crazy. Oh, see, it's the green tea. Hey, Ritz, do you drink tea?
Yeah, I love tea.
What's your favorite tea, Ritz?
Matcha. Green tea.
Okay, is matcha the same in South America? It has different names. It's mate, Argentina, and then Brazil, we call it chamarrão. It's all over the place. Everybody has different names for it. No, I have a lot of cows, so I don't like it because it smells to me just like alfalfa.
Oh,
I know you're rolling your eyes, Carla, but it literally, Ritz, when you come visit, you'll come hang out with my cows, and then we'll just cut some of the alfalfa and put in water for you. You'll love
sounds horrible.
it.
Yeah.
I get 2 cups of coffee max, and then I have to switch to green tea.
Okay.
Maybe 1 cup in the afternoon. We'll see, but we're over to green tea.
Hey, let's do this right before she's about to start. You get to end whenever you want. Okay. There's no, I know it says 2 hours, but you got to do however you want to do this. Okay. You guys have to leave. Let's do that. But what's your big, oh, you're covering this today? Big what?
Isn't it our start? Isn't this when I prepared for this class? I did.
This is when Angie talks about her tough start.
Skills to spark.
Everybody always needs the
Yes.
90-day challenge. I think that's just like a super important part of the.
Literally, like, when you told me that, like I was 68 and I'm like, I'm really cold.
Don't ruin the surprise for everyone.
Don't ruin it. You got, you have, we're ceasing it. No, I'm just kidding.
But by the 90 days, I had a buyer.
Proud of you.
90 days. And honestly, no matter where your cycle is, it's a 90-day cycle every time.
Okay. Here we go.
Every time.
There we go. Okay, before I turn it over to her, let me just introduce Angie. Say hello. Angie's absolutely incredible. We're really in for a big treat today. Let me give one little piece now that we're wrapped up on Opportunity Zone. One little nugget of information for you guys. Okay, you ready, Carla? Right over there by those TVs, I brought down the mirrors from upstairs. Okay, we're going to use those tomorrow morning when you guys start making your calls. All right. Practice speaking in front of a mirror. If you want to bring a handheld mirror, do that. It teaches you actually how to gain confidence and work better as an agent. So little tweak for today is we lost a bunch of our people that were down here working, but come in, get some calls in. We have those leads for you guys. You're welcome to dial on them or call your SOI. And we'll teach you how to do that too. But when you do it, learn how to talk in a mirror. People can hear this. They can see my excitement. And when I turn my back, and I talk like this, it's still the same voice, but you can obviously tell that my facial expressions are neutral. So we learn how to react with our physical. Words are only 13% of our communication. Isn't that crazy? Everything else takes into effect. That's all my nuggets for today. So we brought mirrors down to solve that for tomorrow. Okay, guys, use that. I'm going to pass this over to Angie. Let her take over.
I
Guys.
also recommend standing up. They'll feel your energy. They'll know. And if you're like, oh gosh, so I'm just talking to people again, or like, let's get stuff done. Like that's a huge part of it and they'll feel it. Whether you're talking to agents, co-agents as you're calling them, or whether you are just talking to your sphere or leads or whatever it is, people need your energy. They're going to feel your energy and they'll, that's important. Years ago, I sold insurance, totally starved. I think I ate a lot of ramen back then. But in in our booths, we had our mirrors, and it makes a huge difference. So really quick, I'm hoping to get some introductions from you guys a little bit as to your name, how long you've been in real estate, and who brought you to KW. Let's hit that. How many people are on Zoom? Do we just have Ritz, I'm saying it right? On Zoom, is there anybody else on Zoom we should know about?
Yeah, Becca and Mary.
Yes, me. Mary.
Perfect. So make sure if you guys, we love having you there. Sometimes it's hard because I don't get to see who is, but let's start on Zoom and have you guys introduce yourself then. How long have you been at KW? Your name? How long have you been at KW and who brought you here?
My name is Mari. I've been in KW for over a year, and I became a real estate agent because of my father-in-law. He kept telling me, you should do it, you should do it, you should do it. I finally listened. So, and I am learning every day.
Awesome. And who brought you to KW? Your father-in-law?
Yes, he's the one who told me that I should do it with you guys. Oh, and also my brother-in-law.
Awesome. Mari was you were at our listing mastermind too, right?
Yes, I came to that class. That was awesome. I
Awesome.
was in the front table with Kevin, and some other guys.
Fantastic. All right. Who else do we have on Zoom? Do we have any others? They're just going to creep and listen and not participate. No. All right. Remind me again your name. Kate. How do you spell it?
K-A-D-E.
Oh yeah, Mike. K-A-D-E. And who brought you to KW?
Riley Conder. I
Awesome.
am childhood friends with him, so we reconnected over this. So
Very cool. Riley is signed up to come to our script off tomorrow at 10:30 in this room. It's going to be fun every Tuesday for the rest of March. So come, even if you're not signed up, you'll get to vote, and you may even decide you want to jump in and be a part of it, but you'll be able to listen to the script off of what everybody else is saying. Cool. Who wants to go next? With the mic, so we can record for you.
Hello. Okay. My name's Tristan. I've been a real estate agent for like a year and a half now. Got into it because I wanted to learn how real estate investing works,
Very cool.
and love helping people find homes.
Who brought you to KW?
Kind of tough.
There's a few. Who's your sponsor?
My sponsor is Bronson Gomez,
Okay.
I think, but how I found out about KW was Rena, and then
Okay.
testing centers closed, and she wasn't here when I finished, so that was a big thing.
Cool.
I was like lost.
Lost.
Well, yeah.
Starting is hard. You're working your way through it.
I'm Kaylee.
How do you spell it?
Kaylee.
Okay.
Yes. My friend Kay Jenkins, she doesn't live here anymore. She lives in Florida now, but she brought me here. And I've been at KW. I got my license last year and then started, then stopped, and then now I'm back.
I like it. I still want to know who you are and how you came to KW. Forget it. No, get in here. We're supposed to know each other.
My bad. Todd Salmon. Whoa, that was really loud. Had my license for a year, and Hayden Hewlett is the one that initially brought me over. And
Where were you at before? Because I feel like we've done a deal together, but that's why I'm like, I need to know your face.
I think we've been on the phone with a couple times for some of your listings, but I haven't got my clients to pull the trigger on sending you any offers on those. But
And it's Todd. And then how do you spell your last name?
just like the fish, salmon,
Okay.
SALMON.
Okay.
So,
Are you
and
sure I didn't offer on one of your listings?
maybe,
Maybe.
possibly
I'm glad you're here. How long have you been at KW?
a year. So
Very
as soon as I
cool.
got my license, I came here.
Very, very cool.
So yeah.
That's awesome.
Before you got your license.
I want to know you back there too. I want to know you too. What? I'm a pain in the butt. I want to know people. That's a part of this. Get in here. Come jump on in. Nobody gets to be creepers in my class. Y'all have to participate. It'll be good. We're supposed to know each other. It's a good thing. We like you. We want you to be here. We're so glad you showed up.
What if I don't want to be?
You know what? My daughter does not want to be a real estate agent. She strongly professes that she will not have anything to do with it. She's we're recording this. We will not say how much of a pain she is. Yep.
Hey, I'm Benny,
How do you spell it?
Benny.
I'm so glad you're here today. Benny. Okay.
If I join real estate, I don't want to be on the wild team.
Yeah. Is it because of all the cool cars?
No,
Oh.
I didn't know a bunch of hearses were cool.
All right. There.
Well, he's in Hawaii, so what is he gonna do to me? Uh-oh.
You're out. I'm so glad you get to be a part of our world today. And did I hear right? Carla with a Sierra. Carla. Okay. Carla number 3, but we got to be like, Carla, tell me something that's different than the other 2 Carlas I know here, or 3 Carlas we know here.
Oh, shoot.
How long have you been at KW and who brought you here?
Yes, I've been at KW for like 2 months now.
Awesome. And who introduced you to KW?
I somehow was following Becca on Instagram. I don't know who shared her or whatever, but yeah.
Awesome. Good choice. You did great. I'm
Right.
glad you're here.
Hey, thanks.
All right, you guys. So a little bit about me. My name is Angie Fisher. I've been at KW about 7.5 years now. You guys, there's a good handful of you that have already been in classes with me, so you probably know a little bit about me. I actually never thought I would sell real estate, as weird as that is. I worked at a restaurant. I ran the Village Inn. I'd been there for 15 years as a training GM, and I loved what I did. Just had a really great crew that we worked with, and I worked, I don't know, maybe 60 hours a week and loved it. My husband, he would always be like, you should go get your real estate to save us some money. Because we had bought and sold a couple of houses. And he's like, those people, they make so much money. You should get a license to save us money. I'm like, well, I'm busy. Like, how about you go get your license? And finally, one day he showed up and he'd signed up for school. We had just sold a home and like maybe 7 days later, he had signed up to take classes. Well, this was back like in the technology, we're not technically savvy people. So he signed up for in-person real estate classes. So he signed up and I was like, well, heck, if you're going to go to real estate school, maybe I'll go with you. Like it was $500 and I've wasted $500 even like in a casino or whatever, like on some stupid stuff. And I thought, well, I can go take classes with you. You know, some couples, they'll go to dance class or pottery class. I was like, we'll do real estate school on Mondays and Wednesdays. This will be a good date. I was pretty naive. I thought I'd learn how to save money on my taxes. As dumb as that was, I don't know what I was thinking. So we started real estate school and my husband, he got his license and I really was probably like 80 or 90% of the way through. And he stayed at the little brokerage where we had taken our real estate classes and we were trying to get investment properties. So we were trying to write offers, but nobody at that brokerage would even say hello. Like you'd walk down the hall and be like, hey, can you? And they would literally like avoid all eye contact and walk right past you. It was so bad. Of course, we didn't get any of our offers accepted. Super cool little duplexes down at Spanish Fork. I wish I owned them today, but we don't. And he went to state training, right? You guys have to do like new agent course and the ethics course. And my husband works full time. He's power lineman at Provo City. So he took some time off work and went to this class. Well, on lunch, he called me and he's like, Angie, these agents that are there, they're happy. They know each other and they're making money. I think we should go talk to their brokerage. I was like, cool. I've never heard of KW in my life. I just planned to do some marketing. So I packed up all of my pies on a Friday and I brought them out to meet with the team leader and thought maybe I could sell them some pies. Well, during that meeting, I found out that KW was ranked number 2 in training companies across industries worldwide. Now, that all of a sudden spoke to me. I don't know if you guys know who beat us that year. Do you want to guess? Jiffy Lube. Super random, but they were rated the number 1 training company that year. But KW was number 2. And the thing that I knew is that I trained for Village Inn. That's what I did. I knew that I could teach anybody to pour coffee. I could teach them to flip eggs. I could teach them to do those things, but I couldn't teach them to have passion, work hard, have hustle, have integrity. I couldn't teach them those things. And I knew if they were willing to teach me, I could probably do it. And so it was really crazy. That night we went to dinner, my husband and I, after we met with Johnny, who is now like the operating partner here, not the team leader. Met with Johnny. We went to dinner and it was just so clear, like undeniably clear. And I looked at my husband. I'm like, I think I'm supposed to leave the restaurant. I think I'm supposed to go to work at KW. Craziest feeling. He actually said yes, which my husband is a very secure person. You do not leave jobs. So as soon as he said that, I like got on the computer and I gave my notice. I was like, we did this. So the next day I put my notice in, and that was like June 20th, 2014. Ignite started July 1st. So I needed to get in, get my classes finished, my test taken, get my license. And my last day at the restaurant was July 20th, 2014. So we just jumped in and started to work. And this is the rough start that Tristan talks about, because it was such a blessing. We did just jump in and start working. And the thing about it is you guys are going to learn. I don't know how fierce they are about you guys graduating Ignite. Do you guys know how to graduate Ignite or what that looks like? Not a whole lot. Okay. Showing, huh?
I don't know. I've gone through Ignite so many times, but I've never graduated.
This is the piece that becomes how you become successful. They're recording it, so I might get in trouble. No one really cares if you graduate or not, but if you want to make money, do what they tell you to do and you will make the money. So you got to show up to the classes, but there's something called the 10-4. Do you guys know what the 10-4 is? Okay, so 10 contacts every single day, and then you're going to take those 10 contacts and you're going to put them in your database every single day. And then you were going to write 10 handwritten notes, which seems absolutely insane, every single day. And then you're going to see at least 10 houses a week. So let's review that again. We're going to talk to 10 people every day. We're going to add 10 people to our database every single day. We're going to then write 10 handwritten notes every single day, which seems painful, but I promise you nobody does the notes. That's why they don't graduate. And then you're going to see 10 houses every single day or every single week. Okay. That's your 10-4. We're going to do it again because this is how important this is. You're going to talk to 10 people every single day. And then you're going to add 10 people to your database, probably the people you talked to. And then you're going to write 10 handwritten notes. This is every single day. And then once a week, you're going to, or 10 homes per week. So we call it our 10-4. When you get done in 30 days, that means you will have talked to 200 people. You'll have added 200 people to your database. You'll have handwritten 200 freaking notes, which seems insane. But I promise it's the notes that's going to help make you money. And then you're going to have seen, what is that, like 40 houses, like feet in the door, 40 houses. But by doing that, that actually is the base. Now, my business didn't really take off till the second time I took Ignite. The first time you barely understand, right? Stuff's just flying at you. It takes 6 times of hearing something to retain it at 75%. So it's a good thing to keep taking Ignite, to keep, like I've taken Ignite a ton of times. It's because you need to hear it 6 times to retain it at 75%. The second time I took Ignite was on my year anniversary, and I was really structured and did what that same piece. And seriously, the business launched after that. So our first year after leaving, so we started July 20th. The first full calendar year out of leaving the restaurant, made within $10 of what I made at the restaurant. I used to think at the restaurant I made really good money, which I did. I was so grateful. They took and invested so much time in somebody who barely graduated high school, and I didn't really have any education. At the restaurant, I was making $56,000, $725 or something. And that was really good money. I mean, honestly, for where I was at in my life. So that first calendar year out was within $10. I must have just known like what my husband would kill me for if I didn't do it. I didn't even realize till we got there. And I was like, oh my gosh, I made the same money. But then the first full calendar year out, 2015, we made more like 107,000. The next full calendar year was more like 225. The next calendar year was more like 350. Last year, our small team, we closed out about 750,000 in gross commission income. So like, we have to just sit back and be so stinking grateful for this business where you can barely graduate high school and make way more money than CEOs. So if we come from gratitude and appreciation and just work hard and do what they tell you to do, you will make money. The cool thing about KW is that I love that you guys get to hear from all these different instructors. you're going to realize that your voice might sound more like one versus another, and that we're not all the same. And there is enough business, there is enough houses to sell that you can do it your way and be authentic to you. And you'll hear your voice in one of these instructors. You get to see all these different people. I remember sitting with Dan Kennedy. Do you guys know who Dan Kennedy is? We are like polar opposites. But he is so successful in his right. But if I tried to do it like Dan did it, I probably wouldn't be successful. I really heard my voice in Emily Moore. She was a single mom that was in the business and she taught several ignites. I appreciated them so much because I could hear and see how she did it, and I could do like she did it. So you'll find somebody in this business as you listen to, and if they sound like you might not do everything like them, but start to go, okay, well, I could say that. That sounds like me. Clay's scripts, man, if you ever get to stand behind Clay when he's on his phone in the hallway, I just follow him and listen. And I'm like, I could say that. I could say that. Like Clay is his scripts are just easy. I align with his scripts. So with all that said, I don't know, we'll get to everything that's in there. We'll probably talk about all of it, but in our own way. Now, with all that said, that sounds like really great. You're like, man, I'm going to go make some money. The challenge that we don't realize is how hard it is to get there. And right now I need you guys, Tristan will always appreciate it. I think you should even mark 90 days from today. Because one thing that we don't realize is what happens in 90 days. Okay, so right now, pull out your phones from the day you started. I want you to go into your calendar and mark 90 days from then. Okay, because this is a super important part of what happens in our business. And especially Carla, if you aren't doing it, do it right now. I promise. Because I remember my day 90. It was the last Tuesday in October, 2014. And I had this whole time gotten up, gone to work, did everything they told me to do, called people, wrote notes, knocked on doors, held open houses, had a little bit of success. I had one listing and I was able to get a sign call to convert and go put them under contract. So I had closed a couple of deals. But that day I had an agent call me and I had made a mistake on the offer on a contract. I screwed some stuff up. And she was on the other side and she definitely let me know. She was fine. But you go to work 12 hours a day, 5 days a week, and you're just trying and you're trying and you're trying. And I remember just feeling like I can't do this business. I'm just going to call my boss and get my job back. This is stupid. Like, it's not worth everything we're putting in. And I just don't think I'm good enough for this job. It's stupid. No, it's not good enough. But I picked my daughter up from school. And I remember going upstairs and crawling back in bed. It's like 3 o'clock in the afternoon, pulling the covers above my head. And I'm like, I'm freaking out. I don't want to play this game anymore. It's hard. It shouldn't be that hard. And then me and God had a whole conversation. I'm like, God, if you're the one who told me to come here, you told me to do this. What the hell? This isn't fair. This isn't right. Like, why did you tell me to do this? And he sat there for a few more minutes and he's really, really clear. He was like, quit feeling so stinking sorry for yourself. Get up and go downstairs and go to work. Like, knock it off, go to work. So I got, fine, stupid, I'll go to work. And I went downstairs and just started calling people. And the reality in this business, no matter what your problem is, the solution will be to call people. I don't care if you have too much business, not enough business, you've had a hard day, you've had a good day. The solution every single time is call people. Just call people. Who do you call? I don't care. Call your SOI, call your database, call the phone book. I don't care. Call people. So I started calling people just that I'd been working with in the database. Nothing happened with those. But then all of a sudden, my phone rang. And this investor that I'd shown every stinky house to in Provo called and said, Angie, the smokehouse, it's getting a new roof. Can we put an offer on it? I'm like, yeah, we can do that. We can do that. This other lady that I'd shown all the little cheap houses in Payson too said, hey, I just saw a condo hit the market on KSL. Can we go look at it? And we put an offer on that house. A few minutes later, this all happens. Like a few minutes later, a lender calls me and says, I have a qualified buyer ready to go make an offer on a house. And by the end of that week, we had 5 under contract. The problem is on day 90, you're going to be like in the stairwell freaking crying because it sucks and you can't get anything to come together. But I want you to remember on day 90, you hear my voice that says freaking get up and go call people. Because if you can make it to day 91, day 92, day 93, day 94, day 95, that is where the contracts will come. You will be ready to give up. And if you do, that's exactly what will happen. And that's why so many people quit. They say 1 year. I'm telling you, they don't make it past 90 days. If you can make it past 90 days, you will have success. If you just keep showing up and doing exactly what they tell you to do, you don't even have to have fancy scripts. Just freaking call people. Like that's the solution. Yes. That makes me so happy because it's real, huh? It is like the F this business. I am not doing this anymore. Amen. Like right there, though, that is really what happens.
And then just what you said, it's like you really have to keep yourself accountable. Like,
Yeah, you almost need to repeat that for anyone too, because I am a believer. Sure. Yes.
Okay, so basically what I was saying is I put the 90-day marks like in my calendar, like Angie said, and I was getting really discouraged. And I saw like, it was 2 days before that 90-day mark. And I had like my first client, which was a cousin, reach out to me because one of my Facebook posts. I needed money, so I drove out to put a sign in someone's yard 2 hours away. And they saw that and met with them the next day and then got them under contract. And so literally it's just that. And then you have to just hold yourself accountable. Like I'm almost at my 2-year mark in August. And my first year, I didn't do as much, but now I'm kind of thinking because of my ADHD and such, I didn't hold myself accountable. And now this year that I've held myself accountable, I've at least got one under contract every month.
I think
It's
the
a big
second thing is
difference.
the leverage of your team. If you can find the right place where you can find the support you need. I think sometimes people don't love teams because they don't like to have to split, but you don't realize the leverage that a team offers you and the support that you need. Because it is like this business sometimes is like, it's hard. And it's more so hard to just keep showing up and keep doing it. Because what's interesting is when I say call people, no one I ever call is the one that's like, yeah, let's go get a house. I'll be totally honest. I do not understand if it's the universe or God, but something happens and someone calls me. And it won't be anybody that I called. That's like the craziest piece. Every single time I'll be like, but if I sit down and do the work, there's something with that energy that happens that it comes pouring in. It's the craziest thing. And so incredibly valuable to just remember. And that 90-day cycle is true. If you stop working, the same thing happens. 2 years ago, we built a house and I had a hard new construction community I was selling, and I didn't realize I naturally slowed my business down. I stopped calling. And it was in December and I had 15 under contract and I'm feeling like I'm doing fine. But I had stopped calling people because I thought I was doing fine. We're building this house. We were oh my word. So we got we closed those 15. The problem, they all closed out that month. So January 1st rolled around and I literally had nothing on the books, like nothing. And I was like, holy crap, I totally did it to myself again. And I was talking to my mom. I'm like, just mark the 90 days, Mom. Like we're 90 days out, but I'm putting my head down. I'm going to go to work where it's going to be okay. And literally it was it 2020 when? Yeah, it was 2020. So what happened? So we work and work and work and work. Still nothing. I closed nothing in January, nothing in February. And in March, though, March 15th, or it was probably March 12th. It was right before the shutdown. I start posting on Facebook that we have these listings coming on. And my mom called me and she says, you're 2 weeks early, Angie. You told me 90 days. And it is literally that way. Like you just cycle through. And then we went into more like 8 to 10 under contract from nothing to that 8 to 10 under contract. So even when you have like bad times, just like sit down and go, I know I'm the worst case, I'm 90 days away from something happening, but the work we do today You will be paid for 90 days from now. And just get comfortable with that. It's weird. But if you do the work, somehow you just have to have faith that it'll come. And if you keep showing up when it's uncomfortable, when you keep showing up, when you feel like you're failing or you suck, like those moments are the ones like people walk away and they kind of hide. They just don't want to acknowledge that it feels prickly and yucky. Show up anyways. There's people here who care about you. Show up anyways and get involved. Like show up and feel the support of the brokerage. No other brokerage is like that. Like unless you guys have been to other brokerages, you don't understand how special KW is. And I'm kind of like a geek when it comes to that, but I freaking love KW. They changed my life. My life would look totally different. It would look totally different. My best friend still runs the Village Inn in Provo. And I say best friend, our lives went different directions. I can't spend as much time with her because the top 5 people in our life are who we become. Our lifestyles change drastically. I own 18 rental doors. She does not. 18 plus my home and my basement. Yeah. And so 20 if you count those in comparison. And I do love her. She'll always be like my soul sister, but I'm not taking shots at tequila. That's just not my lifestyle. I have different life goals. I still love the girl. One day, maybe she will quit and she'll come do business with us. Maybe one day. I don't know how to do this, but let's try. Can we try? You guys good for that? We went off course, but not really. We kind of are still on the same. I don't know. I probably come. Okay. We are just going to embark on Big Whys. Have you guys covered Big Whys in any other classes yet? Like what's going to be that big why when you are sitting in the stairwell and you're like, stupid business. Why is it you're going to get up and keep going? Sometimes it gets super fancy and people really want to like save the world. To be totally honest, for a long time, my big why was I just didn't want to suck. I didn't want to be bad at what I was doing. I don't like to fail. So it was like, I just have to keep going. My second big why is I want to live a life of harmony. If I have contention in my life, it's not going to work. I'll cut those arms of my life off till I can live in a place of peace. So those two are really important for me. Not any amount of money is worth it for me to live a life that feels gross, feels yucky. Does anybody else want to share some of their big whys? Why do you get up and come to work every day? Why did you want to join real estate? Why? What is it that motivates you? Yeah, what motivates you? What gets you going?
My wants, I guess.
Okay, what are your wants? Tell me your dreams.
Well, the dream is, so like I said, I got into it because I wanted to learn how to do real estate investing.
Mhm.
So I want to make enough to buy enough investment properties to retire, hopefully in my 30s. I'm 20 right now. So basically have enough passive income to fund my life and also have some kind of exotic car that's paid for by my passive income.
What's step one? What's the first step to your investment portfolio?
That I have to make the money in real estate to pay for it.
Are you in a house yet, or are you in a condo or a townhouse or anything?
No, not yet. I'm trying to figure out a way to find a cosigner to do it.
That's your first step. Get into your first piece of property. I love real estate. My passion came into it once I got into it because I saw what it did to help normal people's lives. Like normal people's lives. You know how many people at the restaurant that I help that honestly, they go to work for $12 an hour and then they get a piece of property that they get to live in and own. And on average, since 2015, did you know that real estate on average goes up about $2,000 a month? That's $24,000 a year. Do you think they can go to their boss and ask for a raise for $24,000 a year? That doesn't even count this year. This year's like 50 grand a year for the last 2 years, right? So all of a sudden, I have my fun friend Andrew, who is an assistant manager at Village Inn, bought his first house down in Provo right before I got my license, or about that time with someone else. It's fine. He bought that house for $125,000. We helped him sell it 2 years later for $175,000. He picked up $50,000 in equity. He bought that house, crappy FHA Utah housing loan, 0% down. Good for him. We took that equity. We then helped him buy a split level over here on 1200 West. He bought that for $220,000. He was able to put 10% down and was able to get a conventional loan now and a roommate. So he has help. All of a sudden he's in this house. We go to sell this house a few years later. We sell it for $330,000. So he's now picked up $110,000 in equity that he is able to use, right? In the meantime, we helped him challenge his mortgage insurance. He was able to reduce his monthly payment, all the stuff that we did there. Then he has this $100,000+ and decides he doesn't like yard work. He wants to buy a condo. So we help him buy a condo. Not only does he have a nest egg now, he only put $30,000 down on the condo. He has this huge nest egg, which would have taken him how many years at the restaurant to earn? Right? His monthly payment is $700 a month. He walked into that condo with $42,000 of equity. Isn't like that blows my mind. That's like the cool thing, that it helps regular people. It changes their lives. You will change people's lives when you help them invest in real estate, even if it's just where they live. And they get to stay there. Nobody raises their rent. It's theirs, and they're building equity. It's huge. Like, you change their life. Change their life. Yes. Need a speaker, a microphone.
Like, I don't listen to this guy much, but I listened to one part of a podcast of Grant Cardone's, and he's like, the first house is money out of your pocket. All the other houses are free because of the equity you use towards them.
It is so true. I don't know if you guys play craps at all. Do you ever go gamble? You guys are way too young for that. Y'all look like babies. Same thing. Like, I am a slow investor in craps. I will play 6 and 8 until the house gives me money, and then I will go make riskier bets with it. But I never risk my own money. So, but you just don't even realize, like, we have story after story after story after story of people who it changes their life. So even if a condo isn't where you want to live, jump into the condo so you can get into the next one, so you can get into the next one. And that would be all I'd say, is get a strategy for making that happen so that you can get to the investment property.
What is a way we could find creative financing to qualify like entitlement 2 years?
That is a great question to ask some of the, I don't have, well, there's a few things. Try and get a cosigner if you can, but no, they're not going to do it for free. So you have to come up with a solution that you can offer them. Hey, I'd like you to cosign, and if you do this, I will do this for you. When I go to sell, I will give you X amount of the equity. Like, you just have to think through, like, why would somebody do it for me? Well, I'm not going to do it for fun. Like, I like you, Tristan, but I'm not going to co-sign on, and I wouldn't co-sign for my baby probably either. Maybe I wouldn't co-sign. I would probably gift her funds over co-sign. I don't want tied to that. And I don't really believe in handing stuff out most of the time, but there's a way. If you can make it mutually beneficial, there are people who will, but you got to think it's not going to probably be a mom or a dad. It's going to be somebody who believes it as a business strategy with you. And you come think through, how can I do this as a business strategy so that it helps them? Maybe it is their credit. Maybe it is, there's pieces of it. Maybe it's not traditional financing, but then you have to plan on it being maybe 5%. Is it because you need 2 years?
Yeah.
How far off are you to that?
This will be like my first actual.
Have you had a lender look at your situation? The one thing is that you don't know. The first step is you go talk to a lender, because that's what they do. And when you do that, I'd like you to text me. Are you okay to be held accountable for that? Because that's your big why, right? So the one thing you can do today, even if you go to First Colony or whoever your preferred lender is that you guys use on your team, and then say, hey, who else do you know that I should be talking to about this? It may still be 2 years, but put your plan in place, because if the other thing is, even though you need 2 years, you need to ask, what is it I need in that 2 years? What does it need to look like? Because you might not take such a loss on your taxes. You might want to show you made more. Like I take so much of a loss on my business that I pay very little to nothing in tax. But I may want that to look different if I'm. So I'm glad you came today. Anybody want to share anything on Big Wise? I have a pointer. Hang on. Let's see. Is that? No, I don't know how to. I'm pointing. Any other shares, or shall we just keep moving? All right. They may not ask me to teach this class again after I go so off script. I think that we've hit it all though. What do successful agents do every day? What do? They call people. Okay. So hang on, we probably should go backwards. This doesn't work. I think he needs. They grow their business. So they generate for buyers and sellers. They make their listing presentations. They make buyer presentations. They preview real estate. They run their business by marketing seller listings, show buyers houses, negotiate contracts, transaction management, vendor management, set goals, compliance, attend trainings and meetings, and manage their money. All those very important things. Okay. Let's see what else we got. Well, welcome to Ignite. We're now finally starting. See what else we got. Oh, this is exactly what we were just talking about. There's nothing else in your business that will have nothing else about business will have as big of an impact on it as the number of leads you have. That was a lot of words. Just call people. Like literally, even if it's, hey. So people ask me all the time, like, what does lead generation look like for you? So it literally can be as much as, hey, I'm just thinking about you. Hey, this house came out in your neighborhood. Okay, so a couple of things that besides calling people, like you might not have anything to talk to them about. Those, how shall we put this? Come up with ways that you can be the expert. So if you call somebody and you're new like this, I would recommend you call them, but also put together a listing alert for their neighborhood. If they're a homeowner, all you do is anything a mile around there. If you don't know how to do a listing alert, talk to Carl. Okay. Then when something pops up, I personally do not do listing alerts that go directly to clients. Okay. I have everything come to me and then I send it to them personally. I get that it's not as much leverage, but they'll answer me. If they get something from the MLS or my website that goes to their spam, the level of touch is pretty low. The other thing is sometimes they'll get a bunch of crap and they want me to show them a bunch of crap and I don't want to show them a bunch of crap. So if I only send them anything that's worthwhile, then I only have to show what's worthwhile. There's nothing on the market right now, so you can send them everything and it wouldn't matter. But I do. I want it to come to me, and then what I do is I send it out to them personally. I send it in a text message versus an email, and it could just be something like, "Hey, I don't know if you saw your neighbor listed. Hey, I don't know if you saw this house, super cute yellow kitchen. Oh my gosh, look at that cool backyard. Isn't that awesome?" So if they're not a homeowner, set up that listing alert for something that they would be interested in. Maybe they like cabins. Maybe they like stuff that would pop out at Fish Lake. Maybe they would be interested in raw land. Maybe whatever you think they might be, they may not tell you, but set up some type of a listing alert that you can share stuff to them. If they're young and they don't have any money, set up everything under 300,000 in Utah County. You'll probably only get 2 homes or 2 condos a day max, but then anything you set up your listing alerts on, you will sell because you'll know about them. Okay. So if you want to sell $1 million houses, make sure you have listing alerts for $1 million houses so that you can be educated on them. This was a very real thing for me. I moved into a neighborhood that's $1 million houses. Ours isn't $1 million, but I moved into this neighborhood. It probably is now. We're probably 1.2 now. I moved into this neighborhood and I had a lender say, "You're going to start to sell those." We used to live in a little tri-level neighborhood. And he's like, "You're going to start to sell those. They're in your neighborhood. Like this is your deal." And I was like, "I don't know how to do that." So I set up listing alerts for everything in Utah County that is between like 1 and 1.3, I think is what it is. everything that comes on the market, active, under contract, backup, and sold. So I could watch it when it comes on, when it goes under contract, and when it sells, so that I could understand and talk about it. So when the ladies invited me to go to dinner, most painful, like super uncomfortable for me. Like I can talk about work, but if I have to like sit next to somebody at church or PTA, I'm like, please don't talk to me. It's like the worst. But at least now I can talk about what's the average price per square foot in that price range. What does it look like? And all of a sudden, they started to ask questions. I was like, oh, this is crazy. I think I'm going to get $1 million listing. We ended up listing, and I could tell them exactly what it needed to be at. And it was really interesting to be able to be the market expert. And like, they didn't listen to me. I told them to list at 1.2. They decided 1.45 sounded great. So when we had nobody look at it, within 48 hours, they dropped the price. They dropped the price again. And I'm like, if you're at 1.2, you'll get multiple offers. And by God, as soon as we dropped to 1.2, we ended up with multiple offers and closed at 1.3. But I only knew because I watched that data every day, and I could tell what houses, none in our neighborhood sold like that. It was Utah County, and I could say that house, no matter what, this is the price range we'd be in. If I only used comps in that direct area, it actually comped out at more like 800,000. So listing alerts, they're huge. Okay. You being able to know, like if, let's say one of the condos over here, like in these orange buildings or the blue building come out and it's listed at 305. Is that a good deal or a bad deal? I'm so proud of you. That is good. You knowing that, because if you aren't watching, you're not going to know, and you're not going to be able to talk about it. And you got to know when stuff hits the market. So people, what they want out of their real estate agent, one, they want to be able to trust them. That's why sometimes they're going to work with you over me. They may already know, like, and trust you. They know you'll take care of them. Okay. They want somebody that they can trust. They want somebody who can negotiate on their behalf. And they want somebody who has market knowledge. These are all things that are free, and it doesn't matter how long you've been in the business. Listing alerts are the fastest way for you to gain market knowledge. Still get into the houses. That's why you got to see at least 10, but the more you see, the better you'll be at it. The more your gut will be right on. Like, you guys have probably had times in your life where like you knew stuff. Back in my day, I could listen. I could tell you that it was a chicken fried steak skillet that was cooking. I knew what it smelled like. I knew what an ultimate skillet smelled like. I knew what the bathroom door sounded like when somebody came out of it. I could hear when the whipped cream in our big Hobart mixer was going to turn to butter. It went, there was a slap that happened. I was like, stop the whipped cream. And we knew it because it took time, though. That didn't happen instantly. Like, we knew that world. You've got to immerse yourself in this world. And the way you do it, listing alerts, go show houses, go talk to people. Even if people are not qualified, go do open houses, go practice using Supras, just go. You guys can go to probably 20 open houses every Saturday if you wanted to. Like, there's so many stupid open houses on Saturday, but go. So sorry. We're totally coming out of the pieces. What do you think, you guys? Let's talk about the handwritten notes really quick. So we said, call 10 people. Do you guys have scripts of what it would sound like if you were to call them? Do you want to practice a couple really quick so we can have real world conversations? It's okay.
Basically, like,
Good job.
I don't know. I've kind of created, I don't really say it's a script, but
Cool. I just answer. Hello.
Hey, Angie, this is Tristan. How's it going?
It's good. How are you?
Good. Hey, it's been a minute. I just kind of wanted to follow up and see how you've been and see how the family's been.
Oh, they're good. My kid's being a turd, but other than that, we're good.
Cool. Sounds good.
I'm
Yeah.
so awkward at role playing.
It's okay. It is awkward. Let it be awkward. It's fine. It's never gonna not be.
Cool. Well, yeah, kids are going to be turds.
Mhm.
I just kind of, how's work been and all that?
Life has been good. I feel like it's been busy, but even with COVID, I feel like last year or 2 years ago, so busy. Last year, we're still really busy, but we're recovering. I'm really happy with the people who are on my team. I'm really enjoying it. Work's going like, that's solid.
Cool. Nice to hear. I don't know. I guess most of the conversations I have, I guess it depends. Sometimes I have like a script, but other times I'm just like, how's it going? You know, communicate with them. And then the way I bring up real estate is I let them bring it up. I'll be like, oh, how's work going for you? You know, how's that been? Da, da, da. And they're like, oh yeah, you're in real estate, right? How's that going? And then that's how I kind of get my touch.
And I think that's so good. You know, what's really challenging for me is to actually use the 4 dialogue. And I think it is really powerful. I think it's in one of our things here. Is it? I don't know. Yeah. Family, occupation, recreation, anything fun, and dreams, goals or dreams. So you're right on point. Hey, how's the family doing? Hey, how's work? Awesome. Do you guys have any fun plans this summer? Do you have any real estate goals that you want to chat about? Or I'd love to be your resource. Super, super simple. When you're new, it can be something even as like, hey, I'm new. If you want to say that, you don't have to. I think sometimes that's a story we tell ourselves that we gotta like, we're new, they're not gonna want to work with us. They actually, the public doesn't realize that that's a thing. It's yeah. So don't tell that story. Just
always like remembering something about them is good too.
Mhm.
Bring up like, I met a guy in an open house and he told me he bought his current house with money he had made off Bitcoin. And I called him a couple months later. I was like, hey dude, like how's how's your crypto portfolio going and such? And that was my touch. And then he was like, oh, I'm glad you called. I actually need to move in the next 2 months.
I think that is actually what this is talking about, is just the likelihood of a move. Is that even though you're calling somebody today and either they don't have money to move, they don't have plans to move, they don't have any of those things, you just need to help get yourself in a cadence with them that you will be there when they are ready to move. So one of the 10 commandments on our team is that every marshmallow in the fire counts, and you just keep throwing them in there. You touch them, you turn them, and one day they're going to turn into s'mores. But it might be like 2 or 3 years down the road, but literally you just keep throwing them in there. It's no big deal. And our second commandment is you do what is right because it pays well. We just know that if we go to work and we have no connection to the money that comes from it, money will pour into the bank account. The minute that you're like, oh, I'm going to make $5,000 on this, or, oh, I'm going to make 30 grand because it's $1 million listing. Crap goes sideways. Like I can promise you that all of a sudden things change, your tone changes, the way you respond to people change. But if all you do is literally go help them because that's the right thing to do and you really want the best thing for them, you will be blessed 100%. And it's interesting because you guys know how often people say people buy and sell, what they say the averages are. They say 7 years. I think that's a long time because they take into account that my parents are still in their house 35 years later. People our age, they buy and sell every 2 to 3 years. They are in and out of those houses so fast. We don't stick around in houses right now. So really just being able to be there and do market reports. That's probably one of the best things for us that we do. We just do unsolicited market reports for people. Hey, I was driving through your neighborhood. I can't believe how much growth your property has had. Here's a quick market report. Let me know if you have any questions. I'm probably less fun. So most of my stuff is based around data. Erica on my team is so much fun. She can talk to them about life and dreams and goals and Hawaii and all of these things. It's not authentic for me too. I have to work really hard to use Ford, and I do. Like I literally was at a volleyball tournament the other day. I was like, I can do this. I'm standing next to this guy and I was like, hey, how's it going? So how many kids do you guys have? Like, I don't know anything about them, but I never talk to them. I'm not very good at it. So I had to be intentional and think through family. Oh, okay, cool. Grace is awesome. How many other kids do you guys have? Very cool. What do you do for work? Well, that's awesome. You guys always live around here? You ever want to move anywhere else? Like work our way through. And what do you guys do for fun? Do you golf? Do you like, and I like, sweated the whole time I did it, but we're already there. We can have those types of conversations. So, yes.
Like duty today. So when you were saying like asking or telling them like their area has gone up and you send them like
Mhm.
market data, would you send them a CMA or would you send them like,
I usually send them a CMA. It depends on if they have good stuff around them. Maybe I might just send them one house that looks like theirs, or I might do a full market report. Depends on if I can gather enough and have it look
yeah,
accurate. And sometimes people might even have like one-off houses that look different than you would expect.
yeah,
If they're in this condo complex, super easy. I would throw together a market report or just send them one and say, oh my gosh, this just hit the market. This will be one to watch for you. So I do have a lot of listing alerts that come to me. I do them twice a day. You can do them instantly, but I got very distracted and it would throw me off of my systems. So I do them at 4 a.m. and 4 p.m. So first thing in the morning, I can go through and see if there's anything worthwhile and forward it over to them. And I usually will just pull it up and then text them the link from the Utah real estate. Sometimes I'll forward the emails. It depends on how much I want to engage with them.
yeah. Okay. And then with the CMA, are you giving them the, like, it's the estimate of the price of their home, right?
Yeah, I mean, what I like to do is I like to include the under contract and the sold because it'll make it look like a range. And I think that's kind of good. Sometimes I'll do active, under contract, and sold. So you'll see a few different prices on there. So it looks more like a range. I might even do something like the market report might say that their value is 358. So in my email, I might say, I think you guys are somewhere between 350 and 375, depending on how it shows. But in this market, you never know. You might even be as high as 400 or something like that. It just, yeah.
Okay, because I remember at the seller's presentation or the class that was just last week, they were saying to kind of save the price of the home for like at the very end of like your presentation and everything, because that's like the carrot on the stick kind of thing.
Yeah, and I think every time is a little bit different. One thing that I find is if somebody has something they want to know about, they can't listen to anything else till they get that satisfied. So sometimes they want it up front and then they'll listen to me. But if I like want to talk about everything else till they get that, they've tuned out.
Yeah.
So being able to hear and feel like that conversation so you can get in a cadence with them.
Yeah. Because I was thinking, because when they said that in the class, like an idea that I had was, I mean, I feel like that would be a good way to hook someone is if they had no idea what their home would sell for, and then you give them an idea and then they might be interested. But if there's like more downsides to doing that.
No, I think giving them a range is good. And I think it gives you an opportunity to be like, so you know what we should do? Why don't I just come over and kind of see where you guys are at right now? I wouldn't want you to be doing any repairs that you wouldn't have to do in this market, but
Yeah.
and we can kind of go over the biggest bang for your buck. And then I can give you a closer idea of what that looks like. I think that's helpful because anytime I can get in front of a seller, I want to.
Mhm.
I know some people are like, oh, they have to have all these qualifications. I don't care if you're qualified or not. If I can sit down with you and you're a seller, I make time.
Yeah.
Buyers, not so much. Like I will do my best not to answer that call right now. But a seller, it might be a year or 2 years out for me. But if I got FaceTime with them, we're likely going to do business together.
Yeah.
So I try to get in front of them. But I send a lot of market reports just for fun, I guess you could say, or a touch so that I'm their person. And it's crazy. A lot of the times it just gets them thinking. And then they'll call and be like, how much did you say my house was worth? That's so crazy. Maybe we will do something. The thing is like, are they looking or are you helping them get ready to look? If they haven't already raised their hand, I say give data freely because you're building that relationship and you're also building, people like to work with you because they like you, but sellers, they want to work with you because you know your crap. They want to know you've done the work. And so the more data, my belief, the more data you can put in there and the more you can cheer up yourself as the expert, the better. And then they don't call me, they don't call me to play pickleball, but they do call me when they want real estate advice. Even if it's like, hey, I need a lawn guy. Hey, I need a carpet guy. Hey, I need a whatever. Good and bad. Sometimes it takes a lot of energy to fill those types of phone calls, but I'm kind of happy that when a house comes on the market down the street and they're like, we didn't know we were going to sell, but could we actually buy that house? What would it look like? I'm in a real estate relationship with them. And I still, hopefully we're still like friendly. We could play pickleball. I should do some more fun things in my life right now. But staying in, so this is also why you got to put them in the database. Okay. So the Red Book, the Real Estate Millionaire Real Estate Agent, that book in there, he talks about how valuable the database is and being able to systematically touch them. Now, I don't know if any of you guys know what the statistics are on this, but they say, does anyone want to give me how many closings you're going to get out of the database, or shall I share? Tristan's the one that I thought might have the data. How many closings will you get out of the people in your database? Let's say 200. Do you know the equation? Essentially. So what, you're really close. So what they say is if you systematically touch your database 36 times in a year, then for every 12 people in your database, you will get 2 closings. And they split it out that way because one will be from that database and one will be a referral out of that database. So that kind of gives you an idea of what that looks like. How's it going? Good. So that kind of gives you perspective, and those are really real numbers. What's hard is when you're new, your first year, you can touch them 36 times and you're like, what the hell? I'm not getting any closings. The problem is you have to complete that first year before you're going to see the results in year 2. They also don't trust you yet. They're like, oh, is this like Mary Kay? Is this what you're doing again? Are you doing something else? Is she doing, like, they don't know that you're in. So you have to stay the course the first year and get the 200 people in there and then start systematically calling them and touching them, whether it's on Facebook or just sending them a message or inviting them to go play pickleball, if that's what you do. Whatever it is that you already do, you just have to take up some mind share. Like when I say, you guys probably did this in the selling class, but when I say potato chips, what do you think of? That's yours. What's yours? Are you Lay's? Lay's. Yellow takes up 60% of our mind share when it comes to potato chips. They've done a really good job being like, potato chips, Lay's. You might have 2 others as your secondary or third, maybe red Doritos, maybe one other, but there's only so much space in your brain. So if you keep taking up mind share, there will not be room for anyone else. People are always like, well, there's like 20 different real estate agents in my ward. Why are they going to work with me? Because you are going to take up more mind share. You got to believe it. Okay. That's the other side. So keep touching them systematically. Right? Okay. I got to get back on course, but we're doing all the right things that's in the class. I promise. We're talking about all the things that are on the screen. We're just going out of order. So in our 200 people that you guys are going to put into that database, and then the 36 touch, your handwritten notes. How do you guys want scripts for handwritten notes? Literally, you just call them and then you write, thanks so much for the call today. I appreciate you keeping me in mind for real estate needs. Send it in the mail. Don't overcomplicate it. It can be something like, oh my gosh, I saw something on Facebook. I'm so proud of you. I can't believe you just graduated college. That's so exciting. Write it, send it in the mail. Those notes will be the thing that changes everything in your business. 10's a lot. I'll be totally transparent. If I could do 1 a day, I'd be freaking killing it. But if you do 10, you're like guaranteed. It's hard, but you can find ways to do it. But literally just pick up the phone. Hey, just want to let you know I'm in real estate. What I found out right away is this is a word of mouth business. So can you keep your eyes and ears out for me? Awesome. Thanks. Send them a card, put them in your database. And I call them every 3 months. Hey, just touch it. So I have a gal, Heather Morley, was so good. She's so easy. She just says, hey, I'm at the office making real estate calls, checking in. Do you know anyone who needs real estate help? Don't overcomplicate the script. Hey, I'm just making my real estate calls, just touching base. Do you know anyone we could help? So, all right, make sure you just stay in connection, because what sucks is you'll call them a year later and they'll be like, oh man, so sorry, dude. I closed on a house 3 months ago. And you'll totally kick yourself. And you just need it to be the path of least resistance. So find out how they communicate. Everyone's a little different, whether they're on Facebook or Instagram or text message. But what I found is if you are the last person who contacted them when a house does come on the market and you're easy to find, they'll reach out to you. So if you were the last real estate agent that texted them, DM'd them, called them, whatever it is. So you've got to just make sure. They may not answer. Don't worry, they still like you. They're just busy. They opened your text message while they were at a stoplight. They still like you. It is so funny when I'll look at my text message chains, because I'll be like, I touched them, no response. And then it'll be like, hey, my mom needs you to come sell their house. So we get this idea of like, they don't like me. They didn't answer the call. They didn't respond. They're just busy. They will call you when they're ready. And it's okay. Keep doing it. It's kind of like when you go to Dillard's and you walk through and they all ask you like, can I help you? And you're like, I'm just looking. But the minute that you're like, I need some black socks, you walk right up to them. You're like, where's the black socks? When they're ready, they'll walk up to you. So just keep reminding yourself all that good stuff. Okay, so we talked about Ford. That's good. Tools. How many of you guys are using Command? I'm finding a new love of Command lately. Have you done Command Mobile yet? It's amazing. Can I just show you how cool it is? So I can open up my phone and let me go into my Command Mobile, KW. This is so fun for me. I can't even tell you guys how cool I think. Oh, that's the KW. I need Command. Uh-oh, uno momento. I feel like it looks different than this. Where? Oh, there we go. It's the red KW one. Why won't it go, you guys? This is not going to be good. Okay, hang on. It wants me to use. Oh, it's not letting me log in. This is not fun. I want to show you guys so bad. Wants me to scan my fingerprint and it's not taking it. Scan my fingerprint. I wish I could show you. I can go in and it has all my birthdays. I can touch the birthday people and I can text them from right there. And it logs it for me in there. I can email them. I can call them right from there. It has my anniversaries of all my people who have anniversaries this month or this week. I can do the same thing. I touch it. I can do it all from there. I can pull up all of my contacts that way. Command is getting sweeter and sweeter. Now, if I knew my passwords, I could probably get in. This is not a Command issue. It's an Angie issue. Super cool though. Like it has gotten to where it is really, really cool. As well, your Command is also hooked to the Command app. So as you share your app and they're on it, it does show me the last time you've been on the app looking at houses. I can do so much through that. And there is a good basic website. We actually are switching over to the Command website for our team and are going all in on Command, and it's free. So I'm pretty economical in everything that I do. Most of my touches are going to be free. They're not going to be hard. And you can actually on the your people, so on your contact, you can put in their Facebook page from there. So I can actually have it. I have their Facebook page, so I can click on their Facebook page from Command and comment and things on their page through Command. Like it's pretty sweet. So are any of you guys on, you guys all use Boomtown probably, huh? Are you solos or are you on Carl's team?
It's required.
What website do you guys use? cool. I feel like there can be all of these fancy CRMs that you use and they don't matter. Use something. If you don't want to use command, use a spreadsheet. It at the end of the day, just use whatever you'll use. It just doesn't even matter as long as you'll touch it. If you hate the program, you're not going to use it. If it's a spreadsheet because it's easier for you to see, use a spreadsheet. For probably 5 years of my business, I use nothing but a spreadsheet. And it's fine. I just literally go, if I literally just go down and call them, mark them off. Actually, I'm a little different. I'm kind of like, let me see who feels like they need my call today. I'm a little funny like that because I do feel like there's energy out there that pulls us to the people who need a special phone call, somebody who needs a hand, somebody who needs love in the world. And so I do sit within, and it's probably bad because I probably have call reluctance from it. And I call the people who I'm like, oh, I'm going to call them today. I'm going to message them today. This feels right today, but it just depends. I try to set up as much stuff as I can that gives me something to reach out. I send a lot of songs from YouTube, videos from YouTube, stuff from Facebook, a lot of like memes, something that's funny. I have like the Friday memes that are just like Kermit the Frog that I'll send on Friday that he's just like, ah, and that's all I send in it. Or like the dancing ape that it's like, it's Friday. I just send stuff like that that allows me to be in relationship with them. That doesn't, it's not, I'm not asking for anything. They're just fun. Dumb stuff, good stuff, but dumb stuff. So like because I need something in between the times where I'm talking about real estate with them, and I'm not very good at all the other like family dreams, all that good stuff. Okay, we already talked about command. Nobody here cares. It's fine. Okay. Also, other job resources that you guys have, scripts, buyer lead sheets, 411. This should all be in your, you should be able to access it through your toolkits. If you don't know how to do that, ask Carl. Prepare for success. These are all the things you guys, is today supposed to be the first day of Ignite? I can never tell where we fit in the Ignite pattern. Why did you guys come to this class? Hey. She tells you to call people, damn it, call them. That's all you got to do. Just go call some people. Powerful language gets results. There's lots of good classes. I think they probably will never ask me to teach this class again. These are coming to, let's see what else we got. Make the most of Spark.
I said this last time, but most people, like, you listen a lot better when it's more personal, like you're doing some people I've seen use all of these slides.
Well, I've reviewed the slides probably 4 times so that I'd make sure we talked about the right things. But okay, we just talked about how none of your database will probably do very much business with you the first year, right? Which kind of sucks. So if that's the case, how are you guys going to pay the bills this year? Open houses are freaking gem. Do you know why? Yeah. Do you want the secret? I'll give you the secret. Okay. Because the reason I think open houses are so cool is the person who walks into the open house has no idea how long you've been in the business. So if you've done the research and can present yourself well, I mean, that is literally at 80% of my business. My first year was open house closings. People I met at an open house, I was able to take them to a different house and close them. And we've now done multiple deals with them. So the secret is don't go on the Facebook page and say, does anyone need an open house? Okay. That's what everybody does. Go set up a listing alert for all listings that KW has. Okay. So every day I get one and I can tell you who KW, what's coming out, because you also want to be intentional about your open house. If you just say, hey, I'll do an open house, you are stuck with whatever open house comes out. So if they are in the middle of West Valley and they want you to do an open house at a trailer, you just said yes. And then you get open house leads from a trailer. Like have that realization. So you can handpick this. You set up your listing alert for all KW listings. When they come out, if there's any in the right location, right price point, right things that you want to do, you call the agent directly and you say, I'd love to do an open house for you. And they'll say, I don't have one scheduled. Be like, no problem. Can I do it Wednesday at 5 o'clock? You just get in and get it as soon as possible. Whenever you say, hey, I'll do an open house for you, you know what you're going to get? You're going to get the house that smells like pee, that has been on the market for 14 days and it's overpriced. And they're just doing an open house to appease the seller, has nothing about getting a good lead. So be very intentional and purposeful and decide, I'm going to go choose who I'm going to do an open house for. I want to do the open house for the listing that's $899,000. Then when you do that, I want you to start getting your listing alerts set up for it so that you can talk about it. Pull everything else up in that price range. Have that listing alert come to you consistently so that you can know, because maybe you'll get a lead from that open house, but they're not ready to go look at houses for 2 more months. But you have to start to be ready to talk about houses in that price point, because buyers are going to come in and you need to be able to talk about it. Now, if you love tri-levels and 400,000, do that. If you want 800,000, do that. But that way you can be on purpose with your open house and not just be like, sure. And I tell you these things because I learned the hard way. I'm telling you, I'm like, this house freaking stinks. I can't believe I said yes to this open house. I'm embarrassed to be here. But it's because I was willy-nilly until I learned how to be on purpose. There's my secret. Good question. Yeah, on the MLS, do your listing alert and you can go down and just choose brokerage and just do Keller Williams Westfield and pull that up. And then anything that comes, you get. And there's anywhere from 2 to 5 a day that come on.
And the nice thing too is like, if you build relationships with other agents, they'll hit you up first without doing an open house.
And absolutely. And most of the time, they're not going to charge you to do that. But if you're having a hard time getting a relationship with them, what you can go to, my recommendation would be to even go to single agents who don't have teams and be their right hand and say, hey, if you let me do all of your open houses, I'll give you 10% from every lead that comes from an open house. Well, that's looking way sexier than the person who's not going to give them anything, and they'll call you first. Then you can say, hey, do you want to take your sign calls for that, house? I would love to take all of your sign calls. Anything I close, I will give you 25% off of. Like, I had several agents that didn't want to take sign calls, and they would give me all of their sign call leads, and we would close the sign calls for them. So the sign calls are when somebody is driving by and sees it, and they just call on it. A lot of agents don't want to deal with that buyer. So you just say, hey, I will take all of those calls for you. And if I close any of them, I'll give you 25%. And if you're new and you're really trying to get leads, you might even be like, I'll give you 50%. Like, because at the end of the day, realize you're kind of in an apprenticeship right now, right? I mean, you think of how many years a doctor has to go to school or a nurse has to go to school, and they are paying and paying and paying. So even if you worked 2 years and made no money, but you got really good at your job, it'd probably be worth the investment. So like, be careful, because sometimes we're so worried about giving something away, but you're gonna have nothing if you can't get in and start working. So
the story I said when I went, I drove 2.5 hours out to put a sign in someone's yard because they were gonna pay me $200 to do it, but then they're like, if you get any sign calls, we'll give them to you. Sadly, didn't get many sign calls, but it was worth building that relationship.
it is, because the next time that they are too busy, they'll call you. That's how Jordan closed his first deal with me, is honestly, I gave him a lead because Jordan Larson.
Really?
So he was in an Ignite class, and then I gave homework to that class. He was the only one who completed it. And so when I got too busy, I was like, hey, I'm too busy. Can you take this lead? I'll split it 50-50 with you. And so he went and closed it. And that's his first transaction. Like, that's the realization though, is if you can get connected with somebody who's too busy, they will give you their overflow, because it was a win-win. I got 50% and have to deal with the dude who was hard. And he got to learn. Even if he didn't close that deal, he got to learn. He got to write the contract. He got to go show houses. He got to go do that. And it's a huge win for him too. So, and like, I know you can get on and show for people, but let's say you showed for free. What would be the worst thing that happened if you showed for free for somebody and they gave you their overflow leads? You got to think, how can I come from contribution to get this agent to want to be in business with me? Because they'll feed you a lot, and there'll be a time where they're just too busy and they'll start passing stuff over, and they'll call the last agent that was in their phone, or the easiest one to get to. So even after you start to find people like that, where you find an agent that you want to do their open houses, once a month, just text them just like you would your client, like your database. Just text those good agents and say, hey, do you have anything I can help you out with? And you be the last person. Yep. You're welcome. You be the last person that's right there helping them. You might even do that once a week if you have somebody that you really like. Maybe they're in luxury or whatever you're trying to do. And you start texting them once a week. Really easy going. Hey, it's Friday. I'm open all day long tomorrow. If something comes up, call me. I'll help you. And then when the time comes, you'll be surprised how well it pays off. Cool. We didn't go through ahas. I think that's where we're at. Tristan, no, ahas and action steps. What's something that you learned from the class today that you weren't expecting? Tell me your name. I should know. Caden. And who brought you to KW? Riley. Man, he's killing it. We like Riley. And how long have you been at KW? Very cool. I feel like we should be in more of a relationship together then.
Same with a lot of other agents.
Like I actually really love to teach. It's one of my favorite parts of KW. And I actually love that they don't pay for us to teach, that it has to be like, you get some of the best teachers because they just want to help. It's pretty cool. All right. So ahas and something you're going to actually implement today from the class.
I had a couple ahas. The open houses stuff that you just talked about was super helpful, so I'm going to do that. But even just like the CMA stuff that we were talking about, like, because after that last class, I like had an idea of something I wanted to do, but then the class was saying not to do it, and so but now I understand it more. So,
Good.
yeah.
And
That's it.
follow your gut too. Like if you feel like you should do something your way, do. Like be very authentic to yourself. Because you'll be way more successful if you are. There is a book called Sell with Soul, SOUL. It's not on, you can order it off Amazon, but honestly, Sell with Soul. I wonder if I can bring it up. She talks about how to become the expert and be very authentic to who you are, to where you're not super salesy, and how to be successful. That book is fantastic. It's not like KW sponsored, but especially if you're going to leverage open houses, would be a really good book to read. What do you got for me?
I don't even know what an aha is.
Oh, an aha is like, I didn't realize that was something new that I didn't expect, or like, I didn't see it that way before. I'm just like, I could do that.
Okay.
And then, and an action step, as little as it is, but something that really, you really are going to do and are held accountable for. Like, don't spend 2 hours here and not do anything with it.
I think I'm gonna start setting up a database though. I need to get that going. And I like the idea of setting up a listing alert for everything that KW offers or puts up, on MLS.
I think that's awesome.
Yeah, that seemed like a smart thing to do. So, and then 10-4, talk to 10 people every day, 10 people to database, 10 handwritten notes, and 10 homes per week. So
And
that's what
if
I've got
that
down.
feels like too much, consistency is more important than the number. I would rather you commit to 2 a day if you know that you will do 2 no matter what. Because the minute if your goal is too big and you don't do it, you've now like failed yourself. And we just have a hard time when we're like, I'm not doing it. So if you can do it, you will do fantastic. But if you go, man, I'm having a tough time getting to 10, do 5. Do 2, whatever it is you can do every single day. Because remember that happens in the 90-day cycle. If we go crazy here and then stop making calls here, your business will look like that too. It'll go crazy. So if you go, I'm going to do, so for me and our team, it's 5 every day, no matter what. You got to do 5 every single day. That's what we do. And build the database, and don't overcomplicate it. Stick it in Google Sheets or in Command, whatever. Just don't overcomplicate it and start to build. And there are people, just go through your phone, go through Facebook, go through Messenger, and if you're done there, then all of a sudden you're like, talk to the person at the gas station, talk to the person who cuts your hair, talk to the person, all of those pieces. So cool. Ahas?
Well, for my last 5 minutes, I want to do a better job at connecting with in our office with a lot of my clients. And the way that I'm going to do that, and I'm kind of predicted already, is just anytime I see something on Facebook that's like, hey, I'll start to show it. I'm trying to be one of the first people there to like, hey, I'm here to help. So that way,
I like it. Now, the thing that I would say is get the cell phone, get off of Facebook. So be there, but go upstairs and ask Carla. She has a directory for everyone in the office. Yeah. So that way, just say, hey, can you send me the directory? But that way you can go and instead of waiting in it, like you could even see them post something, but text them anyways. Be the last person in their phone and even take some time. If you go meet people in the office, stop right then, ask them for their cell phone number and then text them like right then. And then you save them in your phone and then you start to get on a drip campaign with that agent to start to get business. Those are like, that's probably the most important thing. Cause all the time I'm like, well, who is the one that said they could do that? And literally it'll be the last person in the phone. I have people who save me in their phone as like the nice real estate agent. They have no idea what my name is, but we sold like probably 1.2 million in volume to that couple. They were an out-of-state couple who called on a sign. I was nice, talked to them. I didn't pressure them. They came back into town and they called me and they're like, I'm so sorry. I actually really don't know your name, but you were the only nice one we talked to that day. Can you come show me this $500,000 house? Back then that was a lot of money. Now that's a freaking condo, but being able to be that last person, whatever that looks like. Cool. We already talked about, I should probably brought this one up. How has your thinking changed? How do you feel differently? What behaviors and actions will you change differently? And what tools or systems will you do to put it into action? I think that is, we already talked about this. See, I told you I had all this stuff in the slides about what we were talking about today. You guys are supposed to be doing scripts. If you're not scheduled to come tomorrow morning at 10:30, come. Oh, I have one more thing to ask of you guys. Hang on, it's here somewhere. Uno momento. I am trying to figure out how these work. Would you guys help do a survey for me? Have you guys done these before? Yeah, they're for KW University or something. So they're on a KW level. And so do the survey and tell them what you thought of the class. My name is Angie Fisher, Fischer, but scan that or follow the link. I'm not quite there yet, but like I am working towards some things that I would like to be able to do some teaching, and you have to have a certain number of surveys in, but ultimately I like the feedback, and I don't know. I asked them how I get this feedback. So if you guys do it, somehow I'll figure out where it went, and it'd be really helpful to me. And I guess that I'm asking you to do that feedback, but is there feedback that you guys would have wanted out of this class that you didn't get today? Good. I always love when there's a few more here so we can have good conversations. It's kind of hard when there's small groups. You always feel weird talking, but I'm grateful that you guys, you're a good group to have in here, and hopefully good things come from it. And I don't know if Mari is still on Zoom or if she's out. She hops in a lot of times. But. Oh, 778. It'll be fine. We'll find them.